Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today I'm sharing a few of my favorite tips and tricks and a few of my favorite products that I go to when I need my foundation to, like, without a doubt, be budge proof, look flawless, and fresh all day long. These are like my go-to, like, fail-proof products. I know that these are going to last and look good on me all day, but also tips and tricks. So even if you don't have these particular products, it's very likely that you have something like it. And if not, I'm going to share some little tricks that you can do with whatever you have that will just make your foundation wear a little bit better and a little bit longer throughout the day. So before we get started, I just want to say welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is Lisa and I'm a former makeup artist and a former MAC Cosmetics trainer. And I say that because my passion is teaching makeup. I love doing these types of videos, educational tips and tricks. So I'm really focused on doing that kind of content. If you like it, I hope you subscribe and stick around. All right, you guys, let's get started. So tip number one starts with your skincare and how you prep your skin before makeup. And I've got a couple of tips around this particular topic. Tip one is to make sure that your moisturizer that you're using in the morning is lightweight. Make sure that it absorbs into your skin and it doesn't lay heavy and sit on top of the skin. If you have very dry skin and you prefer a moisturizer like this, I really encourage you to try and do that at night. Do your rich emollient creams at night and find something lighter weight in the morning. One, you don't want to put makeup on top of a thick, heavy layer of moisturizer or SPF. So find products that really absorb into the skin and are lightweight. If you do have to stick with something rich and emollient, make sure that you give your skin plenty of time to absorb that. So if you're someone that is always rushed in the morning, you do your skincare right before your makeup, maybe get up and put your skincare on first, then go make your coffee or your breakfast or whatever other chores you do in the morning, then come back and circle to your makeup. At least at that point, the moisturizer will likely have absorbed into the skin more and just give a better foundation for your foundation. It'll allow the foundation to actually like meld into the skin rather than like be a third layer on top of the skin, if that makes sense. You will find an overall theme in this video about layering and, avoiding using too much of products. And it all starts in your moisturizer. So find one that's either lightweight. If you can't do a lightweight and you need something rich, do it early and let it have plenty of time to absorb. And then also finding an SPF that is going to play well under your foundations. My favorite is the Elastin Mineral Hydra Tint Mineral SPF. It is beautiful. It has a little bit of a tint. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you've heard me mention this many, many times. It is by far my favorite tinted SPF. And it works well under all of my foundations, so I love that. For moisturizer, I'm currently loving the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream, I think it's called. I'll link it down below. And I use this one for day and night because I find it's rich enough for night, but it's also lightweight enough for the morning. So that is tip number one, to find the proper skincare, but also allow that plenty of time to absorb into your skin. What you don't want to do is apply foundation directly on top of layers of moisturizer and SPF. Next, you want to find a great matte oil controlling primer for your foundation. Now, one that I'm currently loving is by NARS. It is the Soft Matte Primer. I really love this primer. It's very lightweight and I just use it where I need it. That's another thing you'll hear me talk about, is just apply the products where you need them. Don't feel like you have to take a product and put it all over the face if you don't need it. For me particularly, I find that my foundation will move, get shiny, break apart, or settle in pores around the center of my face. That's where I produce the most oil, and also on my forehead and in between my brows. I don't really find that my makeup budges much on the outer half of my face or perimeters of my face, and coincidentally enough, I don't apply a lot of makeup here. So I don't know if it's just that, this is an oilier part of my face, which it is, or it's that this has more makeup on, so it tends to move and shift and get shiny. You'll hear me talk more about that later, but find a primer that is look for primers that say, oil absorbing or soft mattifying. If you're dry skin, then you probably need to play with that a little bit because you might like more hydrating or glowy products. And again, this is what works for me, but everyone's skin is different, so you might find that this isn't going to work for you. But the point is to find a primer that is going to control oil production at some level and keep the skin, keep the foundation from breaking up from excess oil produced throughout the day. That's tip number two. And that was really wordy. I feel like I'm really wordy over here. Okay, so tip number 3, this sounds pretty obvious, but bear with me because I'm gonna dive more into detail, is finding a long wear foundation. Well, that makes sense, right? But also don't apply too much of it. This is, I think, where we make the biggest mistake, is applying too much foundation, whatever it is. Obviously, if you're using a glowy or dewy or really hydrating foundation, those are typically lean to be more shiny throughout the day, and they move. They're not as long wearing as, like, say, a matte foundation. But even if you take a matte foundation and you apply too much of it, even if it's a 24-hour long wear matte foundation, if you apply too much of that product, it is not going to look good, 8 hours later. It's going to look heavy. It will move. It will settle. So the tip that I like to do is I'd start with one pump of foundation. One of my favorite, like, mattifying foundations that's long wearing currently is the Dior Forever. I love this one. I also love the Studio Fix Fluid SPF 15. These are both pretty great coverage foundations. You really don't need a lot. They are slightly on the heavier side, so again, just use the bare, small minimum. If you like a lighter weight foundation, I love the L'Oreal Fresh Wear. That is a really nice one. And also the L'Oreal, I believe it's called the True Nude Hyaluronic Serum, I think it is. I did a video on it and I'll link it down below. So those are some of my favorite, like, foolproof long wear foundations that don't look heavy. So I always start in the center of the face because that's where I need the most product and most coverage. And then I will buff it into the skin by pressing. I love to use the BK Beauty 106, and I will just press it onto the skin to really blend it out. You'll notice that I'll start in the center of my face and I will work my way out to the perimeter of the face. So most of the product I'm applying is where I need it, and where I don't need it, there's less product there. What I will sometimes do too, especially if I'm using a full coverage foundation, is I will go in with the damp beauty blender after I have applied foundation, and I will just go right around the nose with it, because that's where we tend to find that our makeup migrates to throughout the day. So if you find that that's your problem area here and right here you see buildup, go ahead and take your sponge right after you apply your foundation with the damp sponge and just press it in there. That's going to absorb any excess product so that you have less on the skin. You have all you need and not any more. Now the next tip is to obviously set with a loose translucent powder, but I want to say this. To try to avoid finding a powder that has a lot of color. You've already used a foundation that's given you the coverage that you need. You don't need to go in with a powder that has additional pigment or coverage. Find something light and translucent and only apply it where you need it. You can use a brush. I personally love, and I don't have one in front of me, but it's the BK Beauty 108. It's small and I can get just in the center of my face. You can also use a damp sponge. So this one is damp, and what I would do is I would just press it into the lid. I would take my powder, and I love, by the way, my favorites is the Lancome Long Time No Shine powder. This is a wonderful setting powder that is lightweight, mattifying, pore blurring. It's just beautiful. So I will kind of, do this to the tip of the top of the product. I will open it up. I now have product on here, and I will take my damp sponge and I will pick it up using the tip of my sponge. But before I go to my face, because I will still apply too much that way, I will press it on the back of my hand. That's kind of blotting it so that I don't have too much. Then I'll go under and I will just press that in the areas that I need it, concealer, center of the face, all of that. So the theme, if you haven't picked up on it, is to use little bitty layers of the right product, okay? So it's the right product, but also little bitty layers of them. I would also avoid a lot of cream products. I know I'm a big fan of the cream bronzers and the cream blush. I've been raving about them, lately. I love them, they're beautiful. But again, those days where I'm like, you know what? It's 7 a.m. and I'm putting my makeup on and I have a photo shoot at 4 p.m. and I don't have time to do my makeup again before it, I'm probably gonna skip the cream products that day, unfortunately. Even though I love them and they're beautiful, I will probably skip them and I will stick with more powder products, and that goes with matte bronzers. So again, nothing against cream products. I love them, they're beautiful, but for this particular video, we're talking about, tips and tricks to keep it on all day and not have to worry about it. Now, next, you definitely wanna set your makeup with a setting spray. If this is a step that you don't always do in your makeup application, I would encourage you to do it on those days. I'm currently loving the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. I really love this. You want to hold it far enough away, so you don't want to be too close, right? You want to hold it far enough away so a couple of pumps will lightly mist the face. Then I always go in with a large powder brush. This is the BK Beauty 103. Just a large powder brush. Avoid using a real small one. And just lightly press the setting spray into your skin and makeup. That'll just help kind of, activate the setting spray with the makeup. Also avoid having any droplets on the makeup. It's just a nice little extra step to, again, just get that makeup perfectly set. And of course, you guys keep a touch-up powder in your purse. You know, I like to use a sheer pressed powder that's translucent. Again, avoid powders that have pigment to them, because if you use them throughout the day, it's just gonna give your makeup a heavy looking look or feel, and you don't want that. You wanna keep things light and fresh. You can also use a Kleenex and pull it apart and use like one ply and just gently press it on the skin, or of course blotting papers too. The name of the game really is keeping your layers light. It doesn't matter how long wearing a product claims to be. If you put too much of it on your face, it is going to likely move and migrate and look cakey, you know, 6-8 hours later. So keep it light and then use these additional little tips and tricks to keep it on all day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you picked up anything from this. What are your favorite tips and tricks for long wear and products? Let us know what your favorite products are. I will of course have all the products that I mentioned in this video listed and linked down below, and there's a few others that I didn't bring up that I will also list and link in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye guys.